Good evening. It's a pretty cloudy one this evening as those clouds roll back in. We had some sunshine this afternoon, felt nice, got us all the way up into those upper 80s. 87 for the high in Corpus Christi, and it was a warm start at 73 degrees as well. We typically be around 67 for the low and 85 for the high on a day like today. So not too bad in comparison, but those temperatures are going to stay very close to 90 degrees or even a little bit above into the next couple of days, and they're going to feel even warmer. We'll talk about that in a moment, but let's focus on the problem here. Nearly 3.5 inches under for where we typically be on rainfall. You don't need me to tell you that it's been a very dry 2022, and a little bit of rain we had at the beginning of the week has helped, but that's the most we've had all month. It's the most we've had in over a month. In fact, our only 2 rainy days in April, we had 0.05 of an inch last week and 0.17 of an inch earlier this week. So we need plenty more. But here's the good news. We compare things to last week. That drought monitor index, it updates every Thursday. So last Thursday, look at how much that orange extended to the coastline. That's severe drought. Now that's backed off a little bit, especially in South Texas because of that heavy rainfall, which was, of course, concentrated over much of South Texas. So some good news overall. We always like to have that bright spot in the forecast, but the warm part of the forecast, these temperatures, this is the way it stands right now where you are. 81 degrees in Ingleside, 80 in Port Aransas, 82 at the Naval Air Station and up in Mathis, 81 for Robstown and Corpus Christi. Heading on a trip north, 81 in Goliad and Beeville, 79 in Refugio, 81 for you in Rockport. Inland counties, you are feeling the heat. 90 degrees in Tilden, 85 in San Diego, 84 in Alice, and 85 in George West. And a trip south takes us to a warm 85 degrees in Hebronville and Falfurrias, 82 in Kingsville right now. But it's not really the temperatures, it's what they feel like. We'll get to that part because that is going to tell us a lot about our weekend, but it has to do with the wind. We've had these southeasterly winds that have been fairly strong today, and while they'll back off just a little bit on Saturday, don't expect them to go away anytime soon. We'll still see those winds between 10 to 20 miles per hour, at times higher, and those gusts as high as 30 miles per hour expected as we wrap up the weekend and head on into Monday. So your beach forecast will be impacted by that. We'll have a moderate risk of rip currents again tomorrow with choppy bays, seas 3 to 6 feet. And of course, the UV index will be high, especially since we'll have some plentiful sunshine into the afternoon. So not necessarily a bad beach day. Please take it easy. Be careful. Don't go in too far. Be mindful of those beach flags. Red flags mean there's rough surf or rip currents out there, so please keep that in mind. The big weather picture, not a lot to talk about. We don't really have much for weather systems here in South Texas, and that's part of the reason why it's been so dry. But going on into the next couple of days, what will happen is this cold front over the southern plains will continue to push eastward. And don't get excited. This cold front dipping down won't go quite far enough. It stays to the north of the coastal bend. So the 3 things that means for us: no rain here. We'll have high humidity because of the continued onshore flow ahead of that cold front, and we'll have some strong winds, which means that elevated rip current risk, and that southeasterly direction brings in the humidity. So if you thought it was humid today and it felt warm, that feeling will continue all throughout the weekend. We get from very humid to near oppressive humidity levels as those dew point temperatures rise into the upper 70s into the next couple of days. So what does that mean? It means our heat index becomes a factor again. We have to talk about that. This is the feels like temperature going on into tomorrow afternoon. It'll feel like 97 here in Corpus Christi. Actual air temperatures in the 80s to lower 90s, but it'll feel like near 100 in many places. 100 in Alice and Freer, 98 in Falfurrias, 96 in Hebronville, and 96 in Rockport. And the reason why we care about this is because this is the temperature your body experiences, even though it's not the actual air temperature. So that's important. Sensitive groups like the elderly and children, make sure they're taking breaks inside and staying very well hydrated, because this heat is some of the hottest weather we've seen all of 2022. So into the next 7 days, this is what we expect. Temperatures will stay very warm in the upper 80s or lower 90s as we head on into next week.